Grady, Holtz, Best.
All right, we have all 6 members present this evening. Taking a look at the agenda tonight, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Honey. Second by Holt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Citizens participation. Anyone here this evening for citizens participation? Yes, ma'am.
So the 25th of this month is race day. So it's running the rails. It is our 15th anniversary. And I'm just verifying that you, Cody, will be there to do the start.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, I know Andy has offered to bring the bucket truck for pictures at 8:30. And then everyone's invited to come out and support the race. And then I'll get with Bill on trash cans and stuff. But I do have a question. We have a tent that needs put up, even though it's not in city limits like it has been in the past. Are they allowed to set that up for us out at the Rocker?
They normally the city guys normally set it up for you
Yes.
elsewhere in city limits. But
Usually it's over by Lions End, but since we're going out to the Rocker, we haven't done that in the last 4 years.
I understand, because race is actually running to the Rocker.
Right.
And Lance issue with that. I mean, it's technically not in city limits, but that's just where the event is ending at. Can they go out there and put it up for them like they normally do?
Jim, who did that before? Was that commercial police?
Put the tent up?
Yeah.
No, actually we use the Lions Den, their tent, but the city guys always set it up. It was Darlene Mullins' tent, that's who we used in the past. Sullivan Bank has offered us to use their tent, so I just had to verify. I can tell you that it is, they have a 10 by 20 and a 20 by 40, so.
Yeah, I mean, if Lance sees no issue with those guys running out there and setting it up, I certainly don't. Do we need to vote on that? I would say. Okay, does anybody want to entertain a motion to allow them to help set up the tent out there at the rocking chair?
Motion.
Motion by Holmes, second by Holt. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Is that it? Awesome. What time do I need to be there? 8:30?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Or earlier.
I should run in it, right?
Right. Then a marathon.
I can walk in it, right?
Yeah,
walk
you can
around.
walk, run, whatever you want.
I ran in it like 10 years ago when I was younger than this. Okay, got that. Anybody else for citizens participation? Hearing none. Motion to approve regular meeting minutes of February 21, 2023. Motion by Greg. Second by Holt. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
2 abstains. Martin and Honey were on vacation. Not together, but at the same time. One was in the northwest, one was in the southeast. They went opposite directions from each other. Hopefully not intentionally. Because now they had to sit by each other. Very good. Motion to pay the bills. Motion by Martin, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Bills are paid. Quick little line item here for Bluebit, who provides some of the satellite internet around town. Part of their original contract, which Lenny does have copies of, was to allow them to put a small, I think 6 foot by 6 foot concrete pad and an electrical cabinet to service his equipment near our water tower out at the industrial park. Again, Lance, you looked at the contract, that was something we had already approved. He's just ready to do that. He's doing that at his cost, but it's going on our property. So we just need a motion to go ahead and allow him to start that work. I know Lenny has no trouble with it. Lenny and him had met on site. Lenny knows where it's going. Everybody's happy. Motion by Bouse, second by Grady. But again, now we'll just allow him to go ahead and move forward with that work. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much, Council. Next line item is a request to join in on the utility abatement program. Most of you are familiar with that. We haven't had any requests for this in quite a long time. We do have several industries around town who are currently enrolled in this program. But in order for an industry to get in, they have to meet X amount of criteria, which is capital investments and employment criteria, robust Cuban revitalization, which is a medical marijuana plant out at the Barnett Industrial Park. They have met that criteria. Therefore, they filled out the necessary applications and submitted them to City Hall. If so approved, what then happens next is there will be a 12-month clock that starts. So hypothetically, 12 months from tonight, they would be eligible for that to start receiving that abatement. The reason there's a 12-month clock on that is because we use a year to gather data of what their electric usage is, and then we average that out, and then they receive a percentage abatement based upon this previous year's usage. So they've submitted the necessary paperwork, and it's up to you, council. If you would like for them to be able to start their 12-month clock, so that way they can take advantage of that abatement program a year from now.
What is the percentage?
I think it is 12 or 14%. 14% for 3 years, and then program over.
If I recall correctly, it's only for the amount that's over and above, correct?
I'm sorry?
Isn't it only for the amount that's over and above the electric that they use?
So they take the 12-month average when that clock starts, and then 14% of what's over and above that average.
I thought that's.
I think we made some changes.
We did make some changes. It's been a while since we discussed this, but I don't know if it's on the whole bill or if it is over and above.
It's only certain services. I
Right.
don't know that natural gas is included in that.
And it's just
So I think
electric.
it's just electric,
Yeah.
water, I think sewer. I would have to double check that.
Well,
So yeah, it's the average and then 14% of that.
and then we did make some strict criteria as well, as far as if you're late on your payments, you're out of the program and that kind of thing. But regardless, if it is what's over the average, or if it's the whole 14% average, we can certainly find that out, so we'd have to start that 12-month clock. So motion by Honey, second by Grady. Again, now we can discuss more.
Hey, Cody,
Yes, sir.
that's just on the electric, right? Is it on the gas too?
It's not on natural gas. It's on electric and I think maybe water and sewer.
And you said you figured it out, percent right? How much does that cost the city even per year?
Well, we won't know until they complete their 12-month window, because we'll take a year's worth of data on what their utility usage is, and then they get an abatement on 14% of what that average is, or maybe even less than that if it's over what they're at, 40% on over what their average is.
That's all.
Used to, it was set up 20%, 20%, 15, 10, and 5 over 5 years. We changed it to 14% for 3 years. We've made the criteria a little bit more strict, and then we also put in some rules as far as, if you're late on your bills, you're going to be kicked out of the program, that kind of stuff. So I think since we sort of rewrote the program, we've only had one person apply. So it's kind of been a thing that we haven't had to talk about in a while. But they have met the criteria to fill out the application and start the clock.
Okay, now we also said we was having 5 businesses on at a time. So one's going off, and then they come on.
Is it 5 or 7?
I think it's 5 to cut it down to.
I would have to look, but I thought that it was 7.
I think
I
it's
just want
Only
one
7
going off
could be
and taking
I think it is 7, but I do think we were having 2 or 3 dropping off.
I don't think we currently have 7 right now.
I just wondered, okay.
Yeah, because that's another great point, because if it's capped,
You
you're on a
realize
waiting
there's only
list.
so many at a time.
That is correct, and then you would be the next one up after somebody falls
Yeah.
off. You would have you'd be the next one in line, that's correct. Okay, well, we have a first and a second. Is there a motion to go ahead and allow them to start their 12-month clock for the utility rate program? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll get that out to them and maybe let us know next meeting. We can review the criteria. Thank you, council. Municipal judge position. That sounds like a Lance Thurman, Attorney Thurman line item.
So, we did not have anybody that signed up for the municipal judge position. It's required to be an attorney, and unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of attorneys that live in the city limits of Cuba. That position has currently been filled by Kara Bashirs, who is an assistant prosecuting attorney in Phelps County. I know that she's interested in continuing to do that job. My understanding from everybody is that she's done well in that position. So you need to make an appointment to fill that vacant position. It has to be an attorney. So my recommendation is that you can use the person who's been doing it and is willing to continue doing that work.
Understood.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and, if we need a motion for that.
So we don't have to look for him, I mean, we can just appoint whomever we want, we don't have to make this open to any other interested attorneys.
It's a mayoral appointment, so it's whoever he chooses with the advice and consent of the board.
Yep, and again, we had nobody put their name on the ballot for it. There's not too many folks that are knocking down our door to do it, or that live in the city limits. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, I do have the interest to go ahead and continue to appoint, reappoint, further appoint, whatever the best word there is, Kara. So,
I'll make a motion to let you go ahead and appoint.
okay, motion by Baus. Second by Grady. All
Cody,
yes,
hold
sir.
on.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
asked
sir.
him.
You're good.
So Cody can appoint, because nobody,
Correct.
okay, but our city on city, you have to be an attorney.
It does.
State law says that.
Okay, we wanted to make sure if I'm asking straight.
When the Supreme Court made all of the changes that took place with municipal courts, we went ahead and put that in our ordinance, but the Supreme Court required it as well, so.
So that needs to be out.
Correct.
Okay,
Now, 10 years ago, anybody.
I know.
And they did.
And it did, you're exactly right. But that has since changed, and that's why we are in the scenario we are in now. So, again, motion and second on the floor to go ahead and reappoint Mr. Shears. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. Lawyer says thank you very much for that. Fireworks bid. That time of year, these bids normally come in, or at least the last time we did these bids, they usually come in for a several year period. We don't do this annually, depending on what is submitted. Did we put in our advertisement we wanted multi-year, or was it just up to the bidder?
3 years.
Okay, so we sought applicants for 3 years worth of fireworks bids. We received one. Okay, not too many folks out there that are putting on large fireworks shows, so let's see what we have here. All right, we have one bid here from Showtime Pyrotechnics LLC, located here in Cuba, Missouri, from Mr. Mike Brummett. I would be happy to extend our price engagement for another 3 years, covering display years 2023, 2024, 2025, with slight yearly increases in increments of $1,500 per year, respectively. This would start the 2023 display at $21,500. 2024 at $23,000. And bring the 2025 show in at a total cost of $24,500. Then there's several other pages of language, including his insurance and liabilities and licenses and certifications, as well as the assortment of different shell sizes that he would use. But the bottom line is the money. This is right in line with what we've paid the last 3 years. I'm not sure there's much of a difference in price, to be quite honest with you.
It's expensive for you.
It is. It is. Makes you think what St. Louis or New York City spends. It's craziness. Yes, sir.
Does it say how long it's gonna be? Long as like last year?
Let's see if it has a time in here. It will last approximately 25 minutes.
That's what I think.
I know they've been great, and I know we've had a lot of positive feedback. I will say that.
We must get lots of compliments.
Unless they all go off at once.
Right. And Mike, being that Mike's local, I think he likes to put on a very good local show. But this is our bid, folks, from Showtime Pyrotechnics.
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept by Grady, second by Homie. Yes, ma'am.
One quick thing.
You bet.
So we've been doing this not on 4th of July for the last few years. Is there a specific date?
This would continue to be for the evening of July 3rd. And the original, or excuse me, the last contract he was under was the same way. Thought process behind that was Most folks have day off the next day.
And still build those.
And also, yes, not compete with other towns. Very good. So yes, that would be for July 3rd for all three of those years. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty, folks.
I'll do an ordinance for that.
Thank you very much.
To be
July 3rd, 2023, approximately 9:30 p.m.
Monday.
See our first show. Is the 4th on Monday? Or the 3rd on Monday this year? The 4th is an actual Tuesday. Alrighty. Next item we have here is an employee leave of absence request. So an employee had reached out to me, and we do not have any type of policy currently in place for something like this. We have nothing in our handbook for something like this. So I wanted to bring it to the council. Now, I do think, in light of this, that we need to make a policy. We need to put something in the handbook in regarding any type of employee leave of absence. Okay? That does not currently exist. We will work on this. So this individual case is Miss Dawn Gregory. Okay? She is wanting to take a trip this summer. She sent me some dates. And the reason we've got to consider a leave of absence here is because she doesn't have sufficient vacation time for what she's wanting to do. Okay? Therefore, she wouldn't simply submit comp time or vacation time to cover her trip. She understands that it would have to be a leave of absence outside of the days that she does have available, which I'll get into. And those days would be unpaid, right? And she is aware of that. My thought on that is, you know, it's in June. I'll get to the dates in a second. But for future reference, I think we need to get an actual black and white policy and handbook for these types of situations. I don't think it's in the best interest of the city to just openly allow this at random, or somebody call and say, hey, next week I'm not going to be in, I'm going somewhere, don't worry about paying me, right? We do have a business to run as a city. We do have citizens that we need to serve. Now, the dates that Ms. Gregory is requesting are June 29th through July 9th. One of those is a holiday being July 4th. And then you have 2 weekend days in there. Actually, yeah, 1 weekend in the middle of it. That's kind of, you know, that's 4 months from now, right? So she's given us time. It's not like somebody's requesting something 2 weeks from now. Regardless, we need to get a policy in place that needs to be followed in this situation.
How many days does she actually request?
So what she's wanting here,
2.5 days.
It would be 6 actual work days.
so 6 actual work days. She has vacation for one of those days.
Well, you have to remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can't guarantee that she's still going to have all of this time come at the end of June.
Okay,
As of today, she has 9 vacation hours and I think like 14 hours comp time.
right. So
Like I
that's,
said, that's today.
that's
Going forward to that point, how much would she have if she worked up straight through?
she would probably accrue more.
What time?
She would probably accrue more. Would she accrue any more between now and June?
Her anniversary date is not until September, so
Okay.
she would not get any more vacation time until September.
Gotcha.
Comp time, I don't know what she's going to work. She might get more comp time,
Mhm.
and I don't know what that's going to be.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you're on leave of absence, do you accrue benefits while you're on leave of absence?
She's told me that it would only be 2.5 days that she needs the leave of absence for. That she had.
So, and if she uses 0 of this time, that's possible, but if she uses any of this time, then she will not have it. She's requesting 6 days.
Correct. Right now, she has enough vacation for one of those days, right? So we could say, okay, now we're down to 5. Right now, she has enough comp time for one of those days. So now we're down to 4.
So she has 23 hours. I think she has, is it 14 point something?
14.13.
Yeah, comp time.
So that covers
It's
one.
not 21 today,
Right.
yeah.
So by then, she'll probably have enough to cover the remaining, there's 6 hours. So-
Dawn does work some overtime if they have committee meetings over there, but if they don't have them, I mean, I can't guarantee that she's going to get any more, because I don't.
Well, regardless, there was gonna be, say, 2 or 3 days there that she's requesting to be out, that she would not get paid for, right? So in my opinion, that we would need to kind of call that a quote-unquote leave of absence. She's requesting to use her vacation time that she has then, her comp time that she has then. She's requesting more days than she has available, so she understands that there would be some unpaid days there.
Well, I would be highly opposed to her using any vacation days between now and then, and that's something she certainly has control of. She may not have control of sick time.
Sure.
She has control whether or not she uses that vacation.
Right,
She chooses to use it.
And then that's just more days that she's not getting paid for.
Absolutely.
You know, and she understands that, and that only hurts her as far as her.
No. She's not gonna use that 9 days between now and then as vacation time. I mean,
Right.
if you can't, she's already used it, it's my understanding, this will make her 3rd week of vacation time.
Right.
In less than a year.
Right, yeah.
A new
and
employee who has only been here.
That's why we need some sort of policy in place, right, in the handbook. We don't currently have that, so that's why I want to put it on the agenda for discussion. We don't even have to grant it. Just figured we need to talk about it as a council and figure out what we want to do.
I also have a question about the 4th of July holiday, because, you know, you're not gonna be here the day before the holiday, you're not gonna be here the day after the holiday. Do we pay employees for days, for holidays if they're not working prior to or immediately after holiday?
I think the only,
Probably don't have a policy.
I can tell you we do not, because this will not be the first time that somebody is gone before and after holiday, and they still get that.
And what about if you choose to give them an additional day off?
yeah, I mean,
Then, you know, she's getting another benefit and yet not working.
yeah, it's just difficult, you know. And again, this is nothing against her personally. This is just a scenario. This is just a scenario that we need to discuss. And I think we need to put a policy. We need to put a policy in place for
We got time?
I'd like to restate my question.
Sure.
Do they accrue benefits while they're on leave of absence?
I would say no. I would say no.
What benefit would they?
Right.
Vacation, sick
You
time.
don't get that until
Right.
your average.
I mean, she's requesting time off unpaid. You can call it what you want, but time off unpaid. You know.
Cody?
Yes.
Y'all been talking, I'm gonna make a motion to give it to her, she's asking for it. I mean, just 2 days off. You know,
That's 6 days.
we went through our city very quite well. Give them 2 days off and let's get a policy set. If you guys can put a policy, right now we don't have one.
Yeah, that's true. We don't have anything in the handbook that addresses these scenarios because we've never really had it.
But we don't have to vote.
Well, I think she wants to know if she should be able to book flights and rent cars and stuff, hotels and, you know what I mean? And, you know.
We've given.
I don't want to hear we've done it in the past.
For leave.
I made a motion,
She's
Jeff,
got-
that's fine.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, well, now we should take it,
Paid for it.
take it to,
So in essence, we don't need that employee.
And she told me that it was 2.5 days that she actually needed. I don't know the numbers.
So here's my question for if I have to go back through,
Yeah.
what if she uses that time and then she needs the 6 days and we didn't approve 6 days?
Well, if she uses the time between now and then, and she has to change her vacation, I guess. If she-
I'm saying if she uses the time that she already has, like she has today 9 hours 14.
right.
So the 2.5 days
She
is
can't
with that in account. So if
Yeah.
she uses that,
Then she can
will
ultimately
need
be.
approval for
Yeah, then
the,
she'll have to,
you know what I'm saying,
She'll
though,
have to
just so
change.
I have it for the records.
yes.
Cody, now she's being nice, cause she could just take off 2 days and she's sick, come in doctor's excuse.
Well, not
Everything's
be
good,
gone
she
that
don't
many
want
days.
it, she wants to do it straight across the board.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to ever insinuate somebody will lie to us.
No, she said she ain't gonna do that, that's why she came up front.
So is it possible, and I know Kevin's made the motion, I don't know how specific
I
this
give you a
is,
second.
but is it possible for that motion to specifically say you are entitled to X number of days without pay?
Yes,
And,
she accepts that.
and then I mean, and if she takes more than that, then I guess she's, subordinate.
Right, yeah, then we have to cross that bridge.
She's going to see her kids or something, I don't know.
Yeah, this is, like to take a trip to California to see my kids and grandkids before school starts, is what it is. I don't mind using everything I have to make this possible or not get paid on what's, what her balance doesn't cover. So with what we're seeing here, because she doesn't use any of the days between now and then, right? She's likely going to be requesting, call it up to 3 days unpaid. So if you want to make your motion, folks, to allow her to take up to 3 days unpaid, and no more than that.
But then we also have to figure in there, if she's not here, like Debbie said, before and after the holiday.
Yeah, that's not an issue.
Well, she would have to.
Different issue.
So-
I can tell you we've had employees in the past that have been gone before and after, so I don't think that would be fair to do that to her because we've done it for everybody else. If we want to put a policy, fine, but for this, I can't really say that that's a fair thing.
Well, yeah, and if there was a policy, we would have to say, okay, well, she's using that one vacation day for the day before the holiday and or after, so that way she would be covered.
I have no problem with it, I just make sure that whenever we do this, and then you say, well, she doesn't get paid for that, because we didn't discuss it. So if we say, good, then, so she gets, so really all we're doing is allowing her, making the motion to give her the 2.5 days off that she needs without pay, correct? If she doesn't use any more of her days.
You're counting that, 4th of July holiday pay?
That period, yeah.
Is that what you're doing when you say 2.5 days?
Yeah, let's call it 3.
We do have, I mean, if this council approves it, we could approve it, and then we have time to get a policy in place before then.
Right.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah, we need a policy.
We need a policy is what we need.
Again, it's never happened in my nearly 8 years, so kind of trying to figure out exactly how to approach it. I appreciate that she's giving this much notice. I appreciate and understand that, hey, you only have so much time to take trips with your kids and your grandkids, and it's a special occasion. I understand that. I mean,
I've seen this done before in the past too with people sick.
she understands.
With people sick.
When people sick, we used to
Yeah.
give sick days to help those people out that didn't have it. I gave some of them.
Sure. And she's requesting unpaid time. She's not requesting any extra comp or vacation. Saying, I'm just listening, I know I'm not gonna get paid for those days. Like, I get it. I'm just saying from running a city standpoint, we need some sort of policy in the future for something.
And notice, and she's given plenty of notice, if that happens to be in the policy.
That the policy needs to include a notice of 190 days or whatever when we get there. It needs to include a process of, you take it to your supervisor, right? If the supervisor says, I can go along with this idea, the supervisor then takes it to the committee then takes it to the council, and we vote to approve it. That's the process that I'd like to see in the handbook in the near future. Right now that doesn't exist, but I want it to be a paper trail like
She
that.
talked to Kevin and I told her.
She called me, yeah, she called me. We've got a few handbook changes we want to make, and this, I think one of these will, want to be on that committee?
No.
I think we should go ahead and vote on this.
Yeah.
And then make, like you guys talked about, go ahead and have a policy made up,
So, might need a clarification on your motions, gentlemen. Are you allowing her to use what time she has available and then take up to 3 days unpaid?
That's what she asked for, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she knows she's not gonna get paid, so I'm just going with her, what she asked for.
Okay, so motion by Copeland, seconded by Faust to allow Ms. Gregory to submit this request, utilize what vacation and comp time she has available, and take up to 3 days unpaid. But again, if she would use vacation or comp before then, it's gonna change the whole thing.
well, she would just use more time, right?
Well, then why put up to 3 days unpaid?
You should probably just make your motion to approve the 6 days just in case.
Just in case.
I mean,
Yeah.
that way you're covered, because what's gonna happen if a week before she uses the day and then your motion doesn't allow that, so. That's why I said before, the request is for 6 days. I say make it easy and approve the 6 days.
But like you said, chances are she probably won't use it. Unless it's
And
a-
at this
seems
point,
like
I
you
don't
never
think it
know.
matters.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't know. Emergency.
That's what she asked for, Coda, that's not complicated, let's just go for what she asked for. And if she changes it down the road, that's on her, you know what I mean?
So, motion to go ahead and grant the 6 days off and be able to use what comp and vacation time she has available towards that balance, the remainder will be unpaid.
And the only thing is, she has to book this pretty quick, she said.
I get it.
So we're approved, the motion is for up to 6 days.
You tell me, it was you and Kevin's motion, is that, or 6 days? Up to 6 days?
What?
I'm asking you, are you want your motion up to 6 days?
Here, she's not using sick days.
Okay, now listen.
6 days, 6.
No, 6, yeah.
For her to, for grant,
Yeah.
the motion is to grant Ms. Gregory the time off request, right? And allow her to use the available balance of comp and vacation that she has at the time towards the days off, and the remainder will be unpaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're putting our horse before the cart.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll vote and see how it goes, but we need to have a policy here. We need to have a clear-cut policy.
We do, and I'm afraid it's not gonna happen. If we approve this, we're not gonna be forced to do that policy before the next time.
But here is one of the problems with the policy, as we talked about. Sometimes even if we have these policies that we talk about, you can still vote to change that.
Yeah.
So that policy's not going to stop people from requesting.
Right. We just don't have to approve the request in the future.
So I mean,
What if
I'm
there's
not
a-
allowing handbook changes also, but when it comes down to it, you guys can change it. Anything in that handbook, it doesn't really matter.
All right, motion and a second. I guess we have full council just in case on this one.
Copeland,
Yes.
Martin,
No.
Tony, Grady,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
All right, so motion passes, that's what we'll allow. And again, we're gonna be getting a handbook policy in place. And to Ms. Gregory, I know we had to make a production of it in an open meeting. It's nothing personal. It's just we don't have anything. We've never been approached by this before. And we do, and I know she's not trying to create a ruckus or create an issue or anything like that. She made that very clear to me. But at the same time, you know, it's up to us to put a policy in place that can be followed if this ever comes up again.
I know it has nothing to do with it. Or
Sure.
how we just did it.
I so certainly understand.
Coda, now, we used to have something in place because you had to go through your public work director for them to approve that. Then he brought it to us.
Right now, we don't even have public works record.
Yeah, I know, that's what I
But
wanted
they
to
can normally approve the time you have it. They
Right.
can always-
Yeah, well, that's also true. You're approving the time that's available. This is the first time we've ever had somebody request time without having it.
Well,
Well, I can tell you that the last couple of years, there's been one, and it was a brand new employee, one other time. Before that, we never really had any requests for people taking extra vacations.
Not vacation, just.
No, if something's sick time, or if something like drastic happens, I mean, I get that 100%. But just because you've gone through most of your time for an additional vacation,
Right.
I don't recall hardly, I don't know of any.
I can't remember the vacation, just.
Well, we'll have to get something in writing and in our info. Thank you, Council.
You're welcome.
Street Department labor position. Anything to report at this time? I know the ad has closed in the paper, right? The application deadline has closed. Is this correct?
Yes, it's closed. We did not meet, the street department committee didn't meet, but we have talked to Bill about it. At this point, we're not gonna do anything any different than what we already have.
Okay.
We're not gonna replace that employee just yet because Ben is doing the pre-treatment. Raise your hand if you're in it. Come on down. No. He's doing the pre-treatment and, he has agreed, I suppose he has, I haven't talked to him, but anyway, has agreed to help out in the street department. Going forward, the reason why we're doing this is because there's a new budget coming up. And we know that we have an issue with Compro that we have to hash out. And we've also tossed around the idea, this council knows, we've tossed around the idea, we need a public works director. So with those in mind and the budget, we don't know what that new budget looks like. Bill and Ben have decided to, on the best interest of the city, to just kind of work it out until now. I promised Bill that we would we would address this. If it turns out that he's busy and he's gotta have somebody, and the streets come up this way, I want it in the minutes that we will address it at that point, okay? Is that right?
Yep.
That's right.
Mr. Weber, you comfortable with this arrangement for now as well?
Yes.
Okay. You got adequate time to perform pre-treatment duties and assist?
Yes.
Awesome.
Very
He
good.
has been right along with us now.
Yeah, oh yeah, and I know you haven't seen EL, so that's super helpful, and it seems to be working out pretty good.
We appreciate you guys doing that,
Yeah.
so we get this worked out.
Alright, very good. UOC Director report.
I do have 3 things for you guys. We had a tornado siren test this morning, all worked.
Very good.
Severe weather awareness week is this week, so be prepared for changing as we get into deeper in the spring. We had a Region I meeting last Thursday, and we had a lot of organizations within Region I. We also had some state. We also had FEMA was also there too. So, but it was quite educational for me and learned quite a bit in that area. So cameras, we do have some problems at the airport. It is showing time wrong. So yeah, I looked at them at 3 o'clock this morning. It was still showing that we was at 10 a.m. So I contacted Zach with Wave Internet to talk to him and see if we can get that fixed. And we keep on having some problems, some issues with some camera and some power. I think the camera's about ready. Somebody's camera's about ready to die. So, I'm going to look at see if we can get some new bids for some new camera systems. So, and I'll start on that tomorrow, and then I'll have it at the second meeting this month, and I'll let you guys know.
Okay, very good.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Anything for Robbie?
On those camera deals, Ronnie, make sure they're steady or.
Yes, I'll look at them and see what the costs are, and maybe perhaps if we can get some type of grant work or something can offset the price.
It's just about that you can get cameras too that has a wider, broader area.
Yes.
That you can look at.
Yes.
Check on that.
And I'll check on that and see where we can go from that too. I think if we can, it'll be some pretty good stuff we can do with that. We do. But I'll get that for you guys. So.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chief. Like you have your normal report and also follow up on the ATV permits.
Yeah, I'll just skip to my other things real quick and jump into that so I don't forget these. Nuisance reports, I don't have anything. Cameras off for the past week or so. It was 2 weeks vacation, so I really didn't have anything to report to you today for any of the nuisances that has been working on in the past, so that's still the same. So nothing on that. The other thing I have is Riviera Maya is looking for a street closure on May 5th from 3:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Just in front of the restaurant, just from Smith over to South Hickory for that time frame. I don't see a problem with it. It's not a high traffic area, so no intersections.
Motion passed, second by Honey to allow the My Revere street closure. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good.
May 5th, 3:30 p.m. to 11 p.m.
It's a good amount.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good.
And I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, and just to be clear, we're getting ready to jump into the police committee meeting. We did meet a couple weeks ago. It says on your thing that UTV and ATV. It's not ATV. We're not doing ATV permits. The ATV is a 4-wheeler. We're talking about the UTVs, which is the utility vehicles, and now that's come to light is the ROHVs, which is the recreational off-highway vehicles. That's what we're going to be talking about. So we met, and I think the committee has a recommendation, and I can help explain some of those recommendations for questions, and we'll see it.
So basically, is the recommendation going to be some proposed changes to the current ordinance? Is that correct?
So the current ordinance, I want to steal the paper notes because I forgot the current ordinance, having on there fit a lot of the utility ATVs. But now that they're getting bigger and people are riding the bigger ones, some are kind of iffy on the size. So the police committee wants to remove the some of the things from the ordinance stating that the UTVs have to have the vehicles less than 63 inches. They want to remove that because some of them have a wider wheelbase than the regular UTVs. The weight limit, they want to remove that. The amber light attachment for regular licensed drivers, when they have theirs, not to have the amber rotating light on top.
Did we leave that for handicap?
Yeah, that has to be on the handicap ones. They follow this, that's in the state, for sure. And the reflective triangle, they want to keep on it. They also want to remove the orange safety flag that is visible, that's at least 72 inches above the ground. We also want to add in there to the, on the insurance, they want to add in to make sure they have a minimum of $100,000 insurance coverage, liability coverage. And I also add in that I didn't see it on here for seatbelts, but I want to make sure that when we're doing inspections for these vehicles that we do have seatbelts for all the passengers in the vehicle, which pretty much help.
We had a brake lights in there too.
The
It didn't have
brake lights, I thought was in there.
Headlights, tail lights, and it looks like brake lights was an addition.
Hang on one second. It doesn't.
And then, okay, so you gotta have your driver's license, you gotta have your proof of insurance. Don't need proof of disability, unless you don't have a driver's license, correct?
Right.
Understood. And then and then you got your triangle and headlights, taillights, brake lights, seatbelts for all individuals. My only question is on the liability insurance, because I don't know anything about insurance. Is $100,000 minimum liability coverage? Is that like what you would have to have for a regular car?
4 times, you would have to have for a car.
I'm sorry?
A car is minimum insurance is $25,000.
Okay.
Why are we got $100,000 in?
I wasn't sure on that, because I don't know anything about insurance. I Googled it, not that means anything. So that's the state DRR website says minimum level coverage for liability is $25,000 per person for bodily injury, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury, $25,000 per accident for property. And all that equals $100,000. So I didn't know if that's what this $100,000 meant, or if $100,000 was minimal to one of these numbers.
That's what the police committee was wanting to add in there. Dave was, I think Dave, you expressed, I mean, that's what it is
recreational
for.
vehicles, number one, it's not licensed. Number two, it's off-road, but we're bringing it on the streets.
Right.
All right, number three is if you put a boat in a river or on a lake in Missouri, you have to have 5,150 on the boat.
There's no brakes on boats, Dave.
What's that?
There's no brakes on boats.
You're absolutely
You need to have better insurance if you're driving a boat.
Remind me again, somebody, where are we allowing these to run? Because I've heard complaints recently about them in town, and so, not on 19, not on state roads, is that correct?
Yes.
Can they ride on state roads in town?
Not numbered state roads.
So not 19?
P highway, U highway, UU, ZZ.
So not 66 or 19, is that correct?
That is
That's
correct.
correct, but they're saying now it's really highway ZZ, so we don't have to pay attention to the 66.
If it's Highway 66, if it's any numbered highway, it's based on the state regulations anyway. We don't have the ability to change any rules. That's why they can cross those, but they can't drive on.
So, today's point on 66, do we go by it that it's Route 66, or do we go by it that it's Route ZZ?
Where does it start? Where's Route 66 start?
I don't know how it started.
I mean,
Route 66 starts in Chicago, and then
well, yes, Santa Monica to Chicago, but
Is that the right answer?
You know,
It's got a sign here that says 66.
but Dave brings up a good point. It's Route 66, but locally it's ZZ. So, you know, what are your thoughts on allowing CDs on the?
Let me be clear. If it's Route 66, it's a numbered highway. The fact that ZZ goes over the top of 66 doesn't change anything.
It's always gonna be Route 66.
Because if it is under state authority, we can't change anything.
So then they're not allowed on 66 or 19 unless they're just doing a crossover.
Correct.
There we go. Enforce that, I guess. Then. Yes.
If you come and sit in my yard, I bet you can count 15 before noon doing 70 miles.
Amen. My house too.
Right. Well, it sounds like we all understand that that's enforceable.
Is it?
Right? That's
Highway patrol will
It's
enforce
a class C misdemeanor according to
Well,
our.
You say highway patrol will enforce it, some of them might, but we had a meeting with highway patrol and they really didn't seem to care.
He was standing in my garage as he passed my house.
They can't answer why they will enforce some things and why they won't.
Right.
He didn't pull me over.
Well, I think at the end of the day, whatever street they're on that's within the city limits, I mean, they have to be obeying the speed limits, so they're going to get pulled over just like any other vehicle and given a speeding ticket, correct?
One more time, question.
I would say, regardless of whether it's Smith Street or Washington or Franklin, there's speed limits posted, and if they're driving faster than the posted speed limit, then they can get a speeding ticket for that,
They'll
correct?
get a speeding ticket, but they could also get a ticket for driving on Washington or 19 because it's Route 66 and Highway 19.
I think according to our ordinance, the only remedy is a $500 fine. There is no traffic ticket because it's not a licensed vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, as long as everybody knows the rules when they get their permit, or, you know, if we need to start stopping vehicles and reminding them that, hey, you can't drive on this stretch of road, we need to enforce it, or we need to make a decision to allow it, one or the other.
We will have new policy on how we handle that whenever they inspect it. They will get a copy of this ordinance. I mean, they've gotten copies before, but the officers never really said, hey, pay attention to this section. They said, I'll have it highlighted to their do's and don'ts of where they can and can't ride that in the ordinance. That way they won't have an excuse.
Okay.
And how long are these permits good for? Are they annual, biannual?
Yeah,
lifetime?
January 1st to December 31st.
Isn't 66 Washington through town? We're right on Washington?
Which is.
Right. It is, but
If the
but
state.
Washington Street's on top of Route 66, so I can't ride on 66.
So when you're riding the one that the city owns, you have to stay off 19 and Washington.
No, that's different because they're using it in the capacity of work for the city. That's allowed by the
Also, they
state.
discriminate.
Well, that's the state.
We like to make exceptions.
Yeah,
That's not exactly an exception. The government is always allowed to use certain rules so that they can provide vital functions.
so
Same reason that
this
police
is
officers
the requested qualifications for an application, for a permit, correct? Is there a motion to move forward with these qualifications? Motion by Bouse, is there a second? Second by Honey.
I got something for our attorney.
Yes, sir.
I don't like $100,000 insurance on it. If the state or whatever says, when you get the insurance, $25,000, can we go higher than what they say on an insurance policy?
Yes, because the state doesn't allow these vehicles on the highway at all, or any road that is under state authority.
Off a lot.
It's a lot, but if they would have to hit a car before $50,000, and we got $25,000 policy, and you're gonna pay the other $25,000.
No, whatever this that you were talking about here ain't gonna do the damage that the car's gonna.
Well, here's the thing, we can easily just not allow side-by-sides in town at all, not even have this conversation, right? But if we want to allow it, we want to have some rules in place. So there's a motion and a second to approve these permit qualifications. Go ahead, roll call.
Bass.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Copley.
Well, I'm gonna say this now, it's wrong to have $100,000 on that RV or whatever it is, but I'm voting yes, keep them on the road.
Alright, we're on the road. Now, that's taken care of, and thank you, council. Have we came to an agreement or an understanding while we're all sitting here, and this is gonna be in the newspaper, and the chief of police is in this room, that you can only cross over 66 or 19. You are not allowed to operate actually on that stretch. Is that correct or incorrect?
That's currently in our ordinance.
Okay, so that's the law, and that's how you guys will enforce it.
And it's gonna stay in there, that
Very
wasn't
good.
part of the change. It's Smith Street, Smith and Washington, or Smith and Washington Street, 19 and Washington, Lawrence, and
All right,
Washington, and Fleeter.
we have a parade. Can
Well,
we
I
have
think
a
the
parade
parade's
at
the
66?
The city can give exceptions for parades, special events and such.
Christmas event, that's what I'm worried about, okay.
Just like we do with our regular parade before the fair.
I would like to add something to that, Chief. I've heard a sheriff's deputy and a police officer say they're not gonna enforce this crap. If I see someone not enforcing it, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
I agree.
Yep, if it doesn't work, we can always take away the privilege altogether in the future.
The
Right.
streets that you just mentioned, you lost me somewhere along there. Those are only places, there are specific places that you are
Those are
allowed to
specific.
cross those streets, is that correct?
That's where you
That
can
was
cross.
Lawrence and Fleeter and, okay.
Yeah,
All right, anything else, Mr. Chief?
that's all I have.
Anything else for Doug? Thank you, sir. Okay, looks like we have one bill this evening, bill number 2086. Is there a motion for first reading? Motion by Grady. Motion by Grady, second by Holt, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an agreement with the University of Central Missouri and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to accept a grant for the Youth Seatbelt Enforcement Campaign.
For first reading, is there a motion to accept? Motion by Martin, second by Horning. Hold the council, please.
Lane.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Holt. Spence.
Okay, first reading moves to vote 6-0. Motion for the second reading, bill number 2086. Motion by Horning, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Second reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an agreement with the University of Central Missouri and Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to accept a grant for the Youth Seatbelt Enforcement Campaign.
Okay, for the second reading, is there a motion to accept? Motion by Grady. Second by Holt. Hold the council, please.
Spence.
Yes.
Holt. Grady.
Yes.
Coney.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Okay, second reading moves to the vote 6-0. Bill number 2086 is now, hang on, folks.
I didn't write it down.
It is now,
The next one.
it is now
Is
one.
that special or general? Plans.
Is it special?
That would be a special.
What do you have?
It's now special ordinance
871.
871. 871. All right. Old unfinished new business, Kev.
One thing, I talked to Jerry Montgomery today about the soccer field, this building. Jerry let the council know they want what now? They want us to buy the stain.
There's an organization, 4-H organization, that will,
Got
wants
it
to,
Kev.
Oh, you
You want me to read that?
Oh, I don't want to read that, Cody. You got it, buddy.
Okay, well, they gave a copy to Laney too, so I had it on my notes to talk about. We can go ahead and do that if you want. So, sounds like there was an individual representing a local 4-H group that is wanting to perform some work out at Hood Park, specifically on the soccer pavilion. We get these sometimes with 4-H groups or Boy Scout groups or whatever wanting to do some work. The job description is as follows. The job will consist of wash, caulk, stain, and replacement of the logs at the football/soccer pavilion in Hood Park. John Heinz will be doing all of the labor for the wash, caulk, stain, and replacement for free. This is a community service project for Prairie 4-H Club and its members. The date of this project to be completed is yet to be determined, but is expected to be completed by the first week of April. Donations to the Prairie 4-H Club is not expected, but very much appreciated. We're not here to solicit any type of donations. This is just what was presented to us. Time and labor, again, is being donated by J5 Construction Services. Materials for logs will be donated. The only thing that they are asking is if the city would provide the stain and the caulk. So, two things. One, they're wanting to perform a duty to remodel and rehab the pavilion. That's well and good. My concern, Lance, is they're asking if the city would pay for the stain and the caulk. I guess we could, since it's the building that we own and we can provide stain and caulk for our building.
Yes.
We would just simply purchase that, but they're going to do all the work as part of this 4-H project.
We can do that.
So we can't do that. So do we need two motions? One, to allow them to conduct the scope of work on the actual facility, and then do a second motion to purchase the stain and the caulk.
I don't think you need to do that.
Okay?
That'd be parts money.
It would have to come out of parks, and if they don't have it, it would be a capital improvement because it's improving the city structure. Jerry, do you have any idea on the stain and caulk and the cost? I mean,
No,
not trying to put you on the spot,
we bought 30 gallons last year, Craig did for the bathroom, the stage, the main stage, and then the beer garden stage. I don't know what that costs. I would guess it probably, I wouldn't be,
$1,000,
I would think very most, yes.
something like that. So we're not looking at like a $10,000 cost.
No.
We're not looking at a $100 cost, but maybe about $1,000.
5 gallon buck is probably $200 or $300, I would guess. I have a price for that.
So I guess council is so moved to do it. We'd entertain a motion to allow, and this is obviously, real quick, Noel is aware of this, correct, with the soccer program?
I have no idea.
I think he
I
is.
talked to him, and I'm pretty sure he said he had contacted New Knoll and would make sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure Noel's aware of
He
this.
has talked to him.
Yeah.
I think he said he did. I mean, I can. but-
Yeah, and I can talk to him too.
I can reach out to Noel, but not really.
I'm sure they've approached him.
Motion.
Okay, so motion by Granny, second by Martin to allow the 4-H, Prairie 4-H to conduct the scope of work on the soccer/football pavilion, and to allow the city to go ahead and provide the stain and caulk for that scope of work. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, shouldn't be a problem. Is that what you were going for, Kev?
I'm good.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes, Maura.
Nothing other than I've had some concerns regarding the retention project over there, so I don't know where we're at with that right now. But
So I arranged a sit-down next week with myself, City Attorney Thurman, Cameron Schweiss with Archer Elgin, and the concerned property owners. Yep, we're gonna meet, we're gonna bust out the maps and the plans, and we're just gonna have a conversation about it and go from there. I assured them that no work will be conducted until there are no concerns. So that's what we'll do, and we'll go from there on that. You bet. Sir?
Couple of things. I completed a risk assessment on Hood Park.
Okay.
And I believe Andy has a lighting expert coming in as soon as he can get him scheduled, hopefully by the next meeting with a plan on how many lights and poles and whatnot we need out there. I have two electronic engineering firms that are supposed to come out and take a look and give us bids. And give us a number of cameras that we need and a type of cameras that we need, what the power requirements are, and all that stuff. The other thing is, I met with the Fair Board, Jennifer invited me out, and we looked at those barns out there, and what we pretty much came up with was, why rewire them ever again if we can just string lights for events throughout the barns? It would take eight strands of lights, I believe is what we said, 100-foot strands. They have a 150-watt bulb every 10 feet. And then we would just drop some cords, basically, like welders' cords for the fans and the utilities that the kids would need out there during the fair. But that way we could take the lights down when we're not using them, walking away, and not have to rewire that building 7 times a year.
Yeah, I kinda like that. If there's nothing for them to steal at night, then
Yeah.
why bother, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, all great things. Just need to get together some numbers of some costs and put a package together.
Well, we did, I think the lights were about $80 a string, is that right?
So the 50-foot is $89.99, and the 100-foot is $165.99. We may need double strands to light up the barn, so we are looking at probably 4 strands for the cattle barn.
And 4 for the big one.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not necessary at this point.
So we're talking about
Until-
$1,000.
Oh, okay, so like $1,000.
Yeah.
Because
You know, then we gotta hang some change down, so the lights
Right.
where they need to be.
the first year, obviously, it's gonna take longer to strategize where it needs to go, but they do have clips on. Jared Ghost actually brought a set so that we could all see how it was going to work, and then, figure out where those hooks need to be so that the next year we just go in and put them
Right.
in the proper location.
Yeah, then it would just, you'll know right where to go, it'll be a much faster process.
We-
Yeah, that's great. And just, whatever we need to do to help protect our actual electric infrastructure, right? These things gotta plug into something, meaning we've got outlets and we've got transformers and we've got this coming in soon. And that's what's gonna come into the security features, the lighting and the cameras, because the poles sticking out of the ground, they can go rob the damn outlets off of them.
I'm gonna recommend that if we put any more wire in there, we put it in conduit so they can't strip it out quite so easy.
Sure, absolutely.
Hopefully those security cameras we're gonna put out there can tell.
Yeah.
Here's the trick.
And lights and more patrols and, yeah, I just think as these things come to us, we just need to have some formal quotes to read and approve.
The other thing we talked about, and I talked to Jerry where the best place would be to put a host camper out there. Basically, as you come into the park and there's that little water retention ditch down there, there's a flat spot where water, electric, and sewer all come together. It wouldn't take much to trench in and put a pad there for a host camper, so we could have somebody out there 24/7 to kind of keep an eye on things, and maybe an old dog and an old guy.
Right. Yeah, we need some.
Cody, I do have a
Yes,
couple
ma'am.
additions on that. Doug Shockley also met us there, talking about doing the food shack sliders on the front and back to keep those, actually when we got there and unlocked the door, all windows had been unlocked and the back door was unlocked.
Oh, wow.
Where at?
In the food shack.
When?
Last Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. A week ago Tuesday.
A week ago yesterday. Or today. A week ago today. And then the screens around the hog barn that's been recently vandalized, we talked about securing that also. So that was the other things we talked about. So
Instead of putting screen, we were talking about chain link fence or something in those openings.
Right.
Make it a little more difficult.
A little bit more difficult.
So Doug is working on a bid for using angle iron on the front of the building to avoid entrance. They can either be raised up or however.
Okay.
So
Yeah, very good. We just need to start knocking these little things out. I mean, we have bids, we have expenses, and, bring them to the council meeting and be like, here's what this is, what's gonna cost to get done, and we just need to start proving these things an item at a time and getting them knocked out.
So on the security part of Hood Park, I would like to recommend that it's kind of like when you close a store at night. When I worked at Walmart when I was a teenager, they do a sweep of the store to make sure it's empty before you lock it up and leave for the night. I would like to suggest that the culvert that goes from the pond over to the woods is being checked. So apparently there's been some people living in there. So that may be something that we need to look at as well, because they're living there, they're probably stealing other things as well.
Right.
So the culvert that runs under the track, the tunnel,
One big enough to fit people in.
oh, absolutely, drive a car through there.
Yeah.
So, and if we have a guy living in his car at Taco Bell, who's living over there? So,
Gotcha.
I'm thinking copperheads, that's what's living over there.
not in there.
Forever night.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
On them lights that you're talking about, are they gonna be for the fair or for anybody?
I mean, the city purchased them, they would be for anybody to use as like renting that space.
There there's other events besides the fair.
Yeah, that would be if the city purchase. So now if the fair board purchases their own lights to keep for their own use, then those would be
So
theirs.
they can be used for the building.
Right. City buys them, then yeah.
Which right now, we're only looking at the Walmart, or the cattle barn, because it's the only thing without lights.
Right.
We do have a lot of lights that are still in the, arena, which we obviously don't have access to all times of the year. So with the situation that happened this year at the fair, we were all kind of rushed out of there and nothing was able to be taken down. So if somebody from the city can get in there and take down all them high dollar bulbs that are in the arena.
I called AJ Lee 3 times to do that.
But we don't have any way to get them down unless he said he did.
He put them up.
Right, but
if you don't get them, they're gonna be gone.
I know.
It's out there.
For $70 a piece.
Well, now that it's on TV and it'll be in the paper, nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a problem.
like if we need it, does it need like a bucket truck to get in there and get on?
Actually, or a lift, or, I mean, I don't think you can get a bucket truck underneath there. I mean, we put the poles over there and lock them so that they can't get in anyway, but
Right.
I don't
Who
know.
put them on? Recently.
They did the
They were
bulbs.
put up this past year, you know, this up last
They
year.
did the bulbs still
Oh,
up
for
there.
the pipes, you mean?
Yeah, they've been gone, they haven't been put up since the fair left.
Yes, they were up the other day we were there.
They just went up within the last week.
Steerway is back up.
Oh.
Yes.
Does those expensive bulbs belong to the fair or to the city?
Fair board.
Fair. I mean, we'll help you get them down, but it sounds like it needs to be arranged, you know, so you don't lose them. Alrighty. So we have some plans in the works. And obviously some bigger plans in the works, and there's a lot going on. We need to protect our investments. Because it's becoming like a non-stop, every week thing.
Are we closing the gate at night?
I don't think so.
No.
So that way the police can patrol, is that correct?
Correct.
And we can change that if needed. I mean, we want you to be able to get in there and cruise around and patrol as much as you possibly can. I don't know if each person can have a gate key or if it's best left unlocked.
It's the city lock key, it's a matter of officers tonight getting out and unlocking, patrolling around, getting them unlocked.
Right.
Locking back up.
We could probably be talking about a restaurant, see if the garage door opener, get enough openers for it.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
Yeah.
you know, and again, I get it, we can lock the gate and people are gonna go around the gate if they wanna get in there. Is closing the gate at night a big enough an deterrence that it's gonna help us? Maybe so.
You guys broke into the baseball shack out there, carried cases of water and soda across the fence and went back toward the cemetery.
I'll leave that up to the professionals, the police, you know, lock it up if you feel it's safer. If you're driving in there a lot and patrolling it, then obviously please continue
Most
to
of the
do
people
that.
that are getting in there taking stuff will be 1 foot.
I figured as much. Alrighty, anything else in regard to that? Anything else, sir?
No.
Chris?
I got it. Yeah, it's a problem that we're having at the Meadows.
Okay.
There's been trucks, missing I-44 when they come out of the car wash over there and the truck stop.
And they don't see the big sign that say no access.
They turn right, they go all the way through, and all those trucks will wind up the Meadows and they're turning people's yards.
That's the
So
problem.
they'll pull in there and they'll back up, and then if they get stuck, I think the police was called once out here, twice, about, the truck got so stuck that he could get it. Now, the insurance is taking care of that part, but the ones who get away from it, there's ruts in people's yards.
You're right.
I don't know what else we can do.
I mean, ultimately, that's up to the trucking company and the landowner. You know, the city don't have a dog in that fight. There's signs up that ODOT's put up that says no access to I-44, but I don't know what more we can do. Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's 3 signs out there.
I would encourage landowners that have their Ring doorbell cameras or whatever they can to identify the truck and the company and call them and sue for damages.
Now, they did, well, some of them are being sued, or have already made settlements. But the
Right.
ones that get away,
The gate that they can't get under.
well, that's sort of it.
Right, and that's also private property, so the city don't have, again, city don't have.
Tell the land, the property owners association.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys put a gate up like Walmart has, so trucks don't sleep in the lot.
Well, we're talking about options, I mean, but
Right.
I just didn't know if there was something, and Curtis was helping me out.
Right.
They actually.
Yeah, I don't know what we could do.
I don't know if there's anything you can do, but I mean, do you think I could contact MoDOT to get another sign? I mean, I don't know what to do. It's really frustrating. Our whole subdivision.
Well, they get past the sign, and if, let's say they get around past the airport, and then there's still another sign that says no access to I-44. They still, it doesn't, they can't just put it in reverse and go back, they're gonna still get
I
in
mean,
the damn neighborhood.
Luckily, we caught a few of them,
Right.
but I don't know,
Yeah, that's your
I don't
exact.
know. You guys have any ideas, or?
I would encourage landowners to have ring cameras and other things, just, I know it doesn't prevent them from getting in there and making ruts, but at least you have a recourse. Outside of that, I don't
Maybe
know.
an electronic gate is the answer.
I don't think I want to get, but I think people that, you know, the people that it affects the most maybe need to come up with, I don't know, big rocks or something.
Big rocks.
Yeah, something, but I just wondered if you guys had any suggestions.
Over by where I live, I can make a turn behind Walmart all the time, and they get on the smaller city streets, and they can't go anywhere. I don't know how many times I've got out there and walked out there and backed them up myself.
Yeah.
Saturday, the guy was coming up from Bayou Malalis and the hotel in Walmart, literally drove off the road, blocked.
Shuts the whole thing down for hours, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
like
miles
they
and
can't
stuff
back
to show
up,
up, tell them how to.
you know,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those truckers have been doing that since I lived in back in my middle school days. It's a problem.
It's ridiculous.
We can ban all commercial traffic in the city of Cuba, I guess.
Oh, you should have training so they know how to drive.
Or that, yeah, or that.
Jennifer, in our cases, you can put 300 signs out there, and the people that do that,
I know.
can't read those signs.
I
And I can't read it.
Especially with Matlock Drive, and then Matlock Drive where Walmart is, they get that one confused.
Probably the ones that says no trucks allowed, and then they can see the sign, and you just.
So they do Walmart.
Yeah.
I know. Well,
Anything else, Curtis?
No, that was it.
Yep, okay. I spoke with one of the ladies that works at the visitor center, and she said that in the wintertime, when it gets dark earlier, they have to close earlier because they don't feel safe going out into that dark commuter parking lot. They said there's a lot of drug activity and stuff going on out there, and they just don't feel safe. And so I thought we could light that up there. And I talked to Andy, and Andy said he could do it. I said you might need to talk to the state and get permission, but that is our building there, correct? So, and our employees that work there, we gotta keep them safe. So, I would like to see the electric guys go forward with putting some streetlights out there, the brightest ones they can get.
Yeah, as long as MoDOT doesn't have any problem with that being close to the off-ramp, I don't know what the rules and regs are there,
We talked about the tourism meeting,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, last month, whenever it was, and she was gonna check into it, but I think MoDOT, the lights have to be their specification lights, and, you know.
but, okay. Yeah, whatever that looks like, as long as we,
get to it and get it lit up.
as long as MoDOT says we're okay with this, then let's do it. But,
And, they would like to see, Doug, they would like to see more police patrol that parking lot. So anyway, that's all I have.
checking off a few things. Only thing I have is, Jerry probably helped me with this, 4-H building out there at the Edgewood Park having some roof leaks. Is that obviously an issue, has become an issue, or?
Well, the roof was 7, 8 years old, it's a new roof.
Right.
And last year, Bill and guys got up on there, tried to locate it. There's some screws that were loose and that kind of thing. So we put down all the screws, still coming, still.
Okay.
So I don't know what.
So do we need to get somebody to come look at it, a roofer maybe?
Probably need to get a roofer, we've been all over every screw and then.
Right.
Down through there, caulked them and everything, it's gotta be bleeding back from somewhere.
We don't have where it's coming in.
So Lance, would it be okay for them to contact a roofing professional to meet them out there to take a look at it and try to get an opinion and maybe a cost for repairs, or do we need to advertise for that? I mean, they've been trying to keep up with it themselves, but it sounds like they need a little bit of help.
Sounds like it's something that needs to be done right away. I'd call that an emergency.
Okay, very good. So reach out to somebody and meet them out there and get them up there, let them look at it, whatever they need to do, bring us something, and we can try to get that approved for you. So water stop getting in our building. Cool. Go ahead,
All I have is that Jerry would like permission to, advertise for summer help.
Oh, that's a good sign, right? That we're advertising for summer help. You're a normal 2 laborers, high school guy, or whatever, school time type deal.
I know there was 3 last year, but there was 3 applicants.
Right.
So they decided to hand out 3.
Let's start with 2.
Start with 2.
Need a motion?
Motion by Greg, second by Martin. All in favor say aye. Opposed. Another quick reminder, folks, council members, next meeting will be March 21st. Then the next meeting after that will be held on Thursday, first Thursday in April, where we can conclude old business and then bring in the new or existing council, but we'll have an April election. So get those committee meetings wrapped up, whatever that might be. Anything that's out there that we need to get wrapped up. I know Laney's going to be having a committee meeting soon in regard to the comptroller position, accounting hire, so she's going to be working on that. It sounds like the streets got their labor position wrapped up, at least for now, but anything out there that's still lingering, let's try to get that stuff wrapped up before we get to this next election cycle.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. By Grady, seconded by